Look at that. We're ready to go. Welcome to Treknicity, a Star Trek podcast where we've gathered to witness our future's end. Oh, and swords are fun. I'm Lars.
I'm Patrick. Where do you come up with this shit? Except for the swords are fun. We understand that, but beyond that, where the fuck do you come up with the shit?
The,
Continue.
the movies. The movies. In this episode, we're discussing and reviewing the 10th and final episode of the third and final season of Star Trek Picard entitled The Last Generation. Join us again for another finale episode, as only we can do, our good friend and fellow Star Trek geek, Andre.
Hey, live long and prosper.
After this, there is no future for the next generation. Our generation comes to a close as the next one lies before us. This, my friends, is Game 7 of the World Series. Batter up!
Yeah.
I'm too excited. I'm way too excited, man. I'm bouncing. Look, actually bouncing.
Well,
Ooh, jiggle.
okay. Well,
And boobs.
hold on, because I got to try to get this in 2 minutes. I'm not even going to come close because holy crap, it was busy.
Just take a
We
deep breath.
open with the voice of Anton Chekhov,
Oh my God.
voiced by Walter Koenig himself. They finally got one of the original cast back. Sweet.
Finally.
No.
Super sweet.
Unfortunately, it's oh shit, we're in trouble. Space Dock's gonna get blowed up, and then the Borg are gonna kill us all. The end. But of course, the Enterprise, the D, figures out that the Borg are just hanging out in Jupiter. They get there and they find out that the Borg are hanging out in the Great Red Spot. Because why not? It's actually a really cool shot.
There's a spot.
And of course-
There's a spot theme in this episode. I don't worry.
Yeah, we'll get to the G spot later. So they start looking for Jack. They figure out he's the command signal, so they get him isolated. So of course they're gonna have to deal with that. Meanwhile, back on the Titan, Seven and Raffi and the dipshit's dead. I'm sorry. Spoiler alert for the last episode. Yeah, they come onto the bridge. They start firing off transporter tags and beam the young Borg out off into the transporter room, which is all locked up. So they got the ship, and they got to figure out how to get control of it and do something other than just die. Meanwhile, we've got they scan the Borg cube, and at some point, the shields go down, which is basically Picard takes his invitation, so he, Riker, and Worf go off. Of course, he gives it was such an honor, which is just in case we die, because of course we're gonna die. And they do this a couple times actually. They beam over, they keep looking, and of course they eventually track down where Jack is. So Jean-Luc splits off to go find Jack while Riker and Worf are looking for the Borg transmitter so they can figure out what's going on. Of course, Picard eventually finds Jack and finds the Borg Queen. She's kind of all into we're done assembling. We're gonna evolve now and then annihilate everybody that's not us.
I call
The
bullshit on
GOP.
that, but anyways, yeah.
Did she become the GOP? Oh. Meanwhile, on the Titan, they manage to get the cloaking device. They manage to scramble some codes, and they go flying around and shooting the fleet for a while, trying desperately to do enough damage to keep them from blowing Space Dock to hell.
To hell, I say.
Yeah. Of course, Worf and Riker eventually find the broadcast emitter just in time to get attacked by the Borg. The Borg do manage to shoot Worf a couple times. He stumbles back and tells Riker to check the hilt of his sword. Riker grabs the sword, finds out how heavy it is, and finds the phaser. Of course, swords being cool, that's why Worf never used it.
Swords are fun.
Yeah, they're fun. Okay. Back on the Titan, the young Borg start popping through things. They eventually take out the cloaking device, and then start heading for the bridge as the Titan slowly gets beaten up and probably going to be reassimilated again. Oh no. So the Enterprise taking some fire, of course, lets Beverly Crusher on the weapons, and she just blows the hell out of everything because she's awesome. They eventually figure out they have to go inside to take it because it's the broadcast center is in the very core of the Borg cube. So Data decides to play Lando Calrissian and fly the Enterprise D through the damn Borg cube, and it is awesome.
All you're missing was Nian Noob next to him going.
Yeah. Picard, realizing that he can't get Jack out any other way, plugs himself into the collective and goes to have a heart-to-heart where they get all happy, and eventually he manages to pry Jack out. But in the process, Geordi's sitting there looking at the core because he's in command of the Enterprise. Eventually, he gives the order to fire because they can't talk with Picard or Riker or Worf. So they blast the core and start Lando Calrissian out of the Death Star. I mean, the Borg cube. But Deanna Troi turns on her telepathy, finds Riker. Data flies the Enterprise right above them, beams them out at the last second, and they go hauling ass out.
Dude, that was bad. That was badass.
Oh, yeah. Of course, at this point, as they fly out and things are blowing to shit, on the bridge of the Titan, the young Borg pop up and everybody's about to start shooting, and they get de-assimilated, and everything's saved. Yay! Yay!
Yay!
That's pretty. So we go into our Lord of the Rings ending. About 30 of them. First of all, we find out Tuvok is not dead because because the changelings who were working with the Borg, because they had a similar goal of destroying everything, they did manage to use transporters to clean all the Borg stuff out of people. He's meeting with Seven, who decides to resign, but of course our favorite dipshit from Chicago left a recording with her evaluation saying she should be promoted to captain. So Tuvok declines her resignation awesomely because he's awesome. Raffi gets a call from her ex-husband and kind of get the family back. She and Worf do some more bonding because Worf is awesome.
Yes, because Worf is awesome.
Yeah. Data, of course, is talking about his feelings for hours on end while Deanna Troy's looking for vacation stuff. And then Data leaves so she can be happy with Will. Yay. They still seem to completely forget their daughter. Seriously.
Where is she?
Yeah.
Yeah. She is one of the MIA people. We'll talk about the MIA people later. So we cut to a year later. The D is in a museum now. At the Starship Museum with all the other cool old ships. So, yay for that. They take a shuttle to go get Jack, who somehow managed to get through Starfleet Academy after 1 year because, well, he is Jean-Luc Picard's son, and the head of Starfleet Medical, Beverly Crusher's son.
Nepotism.
They fly in, and they come in to see ships, and they see the Titan in front of them. Reveal, it is the U.S. Enterprise, NCC 1701G. They have arrived at the G spot, bitches.
I could totally see the Enterprise leaving space dock with playing nothing but a G thing.
It's gonna get so many memes.
Oh,
There are gonna
yeah.
be so many memes about the G.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
It's gonna get insane.
We got the D and then got to the G spot in the end.
Yeah.
Yay. Okay. Of course, Jack walks onto the bridge, starts talking shit, and Captain 7 of 9 pretty much puts him down, has him set as her special advisor, alongside her first officer Raffi, with Geordi LaForge, his daughter, at the helm.
Wait a minute, Geordi LaForge has a daughter?
Yes, we had to bring that one back.
Yeah, we did.
Of course, that's not the only thing that brings back, because after they tease that Seven's going to come up with her way to say engage or warp me or whatever, they cut because they're dicks. So we cut to the 10 forward set yet again, because they haven't used that enough. They reference Guinan, who's apparently standing off camera, but won't come on camera because they couldn't get Whoopi Goldberg. And after some fun comments, they wrap it up with a game of poker, to which the TNG theme plays proudly and happily, and we fade out to the very end. Oh, except we cut back to Jack, who's putting up pictures, and I swear the picture he put up of his parents was just Sir Pat and Gates McFadden at something, not them in character.
Yeah.
In the 90s. Yeah, it was at a function in the 90s. Yep.
Okay, confirm that. And who should show up but good old Q? Apparently, he's going to continue the tormenting of humanity with Jean-Luc's son, which means we're set up for a new season of some new show. Yay! We don't know what it's going to be. And that's pretty much, hey, that only took me 8 more minutes than 2 minutes.
That's great. Let's just wrap this up. We'll see you guys next season.
Okay, bye. Eat shit. Live long and prosper, dicks. Okay.
Sarcastic Vulcan salute.
Yeah.
Bitches.
Word.
Okay. So let's get down to the real thing. Let's talk about the MIAs. The big MIA.
Laris?
Laris.
I'm really surprised about that because I was looking forward to seeing Laris come back. We all sort of thought she's going to show up in the end of the at the end of the season, and she and Jean-Luc will be reunited. And the thing is, like, you just we got blindsided by this whole thing of, with Jack being, Picard's son, and there being something mystery box Jack, like the sort of Jack in the Box mystery box thing going all season long. And I freely admit I forgot about her, and then while I'm sitting there watching, I'm like,
they probably shell beat her.
What the wait? Whoa! Wait! Hey! Where's Laris? She's cool. No, they had to box her.
We'll call it shell
I wonder
beating.
if it came down to budget, because a lot of the cameos, like I just read something that even Janeway was supposed to come back, and they only had so much budget for so many people.
Yeah, fair enough. But still, man, I was looking forward to seeing Laris again because Orla Brady is. How you doing?
Gorgeous.
Yes, she is.
Yep.
Yes.
And just a good soul on screen for Picard. I ship them.
Yep.
Yeah, that would be an awkward moment when Picard comes back, and if he's with Beverly, he comes back to Chateau Picard, and Laris comes walking in like, "Hello, I've been sitting at this bar for like weeks. You never showed. And by the way,
I'll tell you another moment that was awkward was when Worf ran into Riker and Troy when he rescued them, and he was like, "I have often thought of you." Blah blah blah, and Riker was like, "Awkward, dude, inappropriate."
Wait a minute, man.
I mean, of course, Worf continued that streak in this episode.
Oh, loved it.
I'm still trying to figure out like why things were so awkward, and also how did Michael Dorn de-age himself between Nemesis and Picard? Because even old Worf looks younger than Nemesis Worf. You go back and look at him, man. Dude looks like he has been pulled through a bush backwards. But the svelte,
it was Nemesis.
Yes, the svelte, warrior monk Worf and Picard. Damn, just
he's been getting those warrior skin treatments.
I guess so.
On Boreth. Yep.
Warrior skin treatments. I don't want to know. Is that like when they take the skin of their defeated enemies and wear them?
Yeah, they take the skin of their defeated enemies and turn it into a cream.
Oh my god. Oh. Sounds like Protein Active. Never mind. Not going there.
Yeah, let's not go there.
So okay. So we got Laris missing. Who else we got missing?
Kestra.
Yep, Kestra. We saw her in season 2 once.
There were so many questions about Kestra on Twitter. Terry Metalis dropped that Kestra is safe, but no details on it. We just know she was fine. But everybody was hounding him on Twitter, like, "Where is Kestra? Like, is she just in the woods being feral? And they left her on the planet? Like, what's going on?"
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
because didn't they end like? I mean, at the end of the episode, they're planning a vacation, and it's just the two of them. You know,
Yeah,
and
no
if they're
extra.
going to Orlando, you know, like what are they gonna do? Take her to Disney World?
She an entity? Does she only appear like when she's on the planet? Like what's going on?
Maybe, maybe she's taken off with Wesley and joined the Watchers
Yep, could be.
Yeah.
or the Travelers. Sorry, the Travelers.
Makes sense because that explains why we didn't see Wesley either.
You
That
know
would
who else is
They
missing?
brought all the old cast back, but I guess Will Wheaton can just fuck right off.
Will Wheaton. Yeah,
Wheaton.
I was hoping to see him.
Yeah, that would have been cool had he somehow shown up. And yeah, but yeah, Kathy Janeway would have been great. I really wanted to see her pop in.
maybe they
If
did.
nothing else, just a voiceover.
Yeah.
Just a voiceover would have been cool too.
Wouldn't it have been cool if, like, with Wesley, if they just done to him what they did in Nemesis? Because most people don't realize that Wesley shows up at Riker and Troy's wedding, but that scene got cut.
Completely cut.
Yeah, which is how they were able
Terrible.
to use him in Picard.
I think there's one shot where you see him.
Yeah, there is. Like, but you don't. I mean, the actual shot where he interacts with everybody.
Yeah.
ended
He's
up on-
there.
It's just so funny. So, Andre, who you were saying? Who else was missing?
When the Excelsior was destroyed, my heart dropped. Who was on the Excelsior in season 2?
Was it
And he was
the ponytail guy?
Elnor.
Elnor.
Elnor was assigned to the Excelsior. So when that ship got singled out, I was like, yes, they're gonna blow up an iconic ship. Then I was like, no, Elnor's on board. So then on Twitter, the Terry Metalis then goes, Elnor was not killed. There's a lot of follow-ups on Twitter that we're having to make for these characters who we're thinking are now scattered and vaporized. So like if Elnor would have been blown up on the Excelsior, I almost would have clapped. That would have been an amazing thing.
He didn't say Admiral Shelby survived, did he?
Oh man, no. Nothing about her because she took 2 shots to the chest.
Yeah,
Oh man, I don't think she's gonna survive that.
Yeah, the Borg
Yeah.
expert really got caught by surprise by the Borg there.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still salty about that. Because she was awesome.
All over the fleet. Yeah, she was great. But you know who I'm upset about who died early and I was hoping she wasn't dead? Rolaren.
Oh.
She's a
Yeah.
freaking iconic actress.
Yeah.
And the way she brought back, I would have watched the whole spinoff with her.
Yeah. I will say though, at least she went out well.
Yeah.
So let's talk about let's jump to something else here. So we're not talking for 3 hours because I have to sleep eventually. The Borg. What do you think? Obviously they've been hinted we saw bits of them, but this is the first time since First Contact we see the Enterprise crew dealing with the Borg full throttle. And since Janeway and Voyager rocked their world at the end of Voyager. Not counting the Borgatti moments.
Yeah, so tell me, I do remember bits of the episode was Endgame, right? Was the finale of Voyager?
Yep.
What I know that they basically destroyed the most, if not all, of the Borg transport conduit network or whatever it was. But what there was a thing that the Queen said something about being left poisoned and all that jazz. What was that about? Was that something that was hinted at or shown earlier in a series or something? Was that what happened at the end of Voyager? I don't remember.
That's what happened. Janeway poisoned the Queen, and it was so extensive. Like we saw her fall apart, and say that they said that it disconnected her from the whole collective, but we never saw the aftermath of it. And apparently, that stranded the Borg Queen from the rest of the collective and trapped her. So yeah, that went back directly to Janeway poisoning her. It was Admiral Janeway, I think, that did it.
Okay, that makes sense. I'm starting to remember some of that now.
Yep. I should go back and watch it, but I just didn't like that finale at all. Yeah.
It was cool.
Yeah.
It was cool that Alice Krieg came back and did the voice.
Yeah.
So, okay. So I don't know how you guys feel about it. And this, I don't mean to sound, it's going to sound terrible. And I mean, I guess I really don't care how it sounds, but
do it.
the Borg have become so passe. Like they are a cliche. They have become their own cliche.
I kind of think that's why they did it the way they did in this episode. So what was left of the Borg, they kind of tried to get the Borg back on track to be something different and unknown and scary. And the idea of the Borg being able to biologically assimilate people remotely is pretty awesome.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. I knew something was up with the transporters earlier in the season when Jack had that hallucination when he was seeing people beam. But the fact that the genetic triggers was the link and it turned anybody under a certain age into like drones, I loved it. I love the different take. So when everything started to go downhill in episode 9, you were like, "Oh my God, it's everybody at once."
How are they
Love
going to
that.
fix this one? And they solved it in one they solved it in 30 minutes.
Which was, yeah, kind of been nice that would have dragged a little bit.
Yeah. Well, then they didn't have the time for their 37 Lord of the Rings endings.
Well, what did you guys think of the Borg Queen herself? I feel like when I saw her, it was very much giving Aliens Queen and like entering her nest, like everything from the way she was up on the pedestal, from the way they showed her behind. I was like, this is Alien Queen. There's like 5 homages to sci-fi classics: Star Wars, Aliens,
Battlestar Galactica, how all the
Battlestar
fleets
Galactica.
linking together.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it have been funny if Picard, instead of getting all pissy and shooting at her, he comes in and says, "Get away from here, you bitch!"
That would have been cool.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but I love the Borg. I love the conclusion. Go ahead.
Yeah. I did get a little bit at some point. Picard starting to sound like Picard in First Contact. We're gonna go in and kill all those Borg bastards. He kind of got that vibe a little bit early on before they beamed over. It was that little thing that I noticed, was like, that's cool, because I commented to Lars about it earlier.
Yeah, he was pretty pissed. We saw the octogenarian get angry.
Get off my planet in my solar system.
Back in my day, you see, when I wore my uniform, I had to tuck down on my tunic like this. They called that the Picard maneuver because that was the style at the time. Picard totally becomes a Grandpa Simpson.
Yeah.
Totally. But I love the way he connected with Jack. I mean, like, even offering to stay with him at the cube. I mean, and seeing the Enterprise D like fight the Borg made me tear up, because it brought back the same kind of nostalgia and terror that I had like 35 years ago, watching it. And it was just so nice to see them, and scary because you didn't know if they were going to die, if like who was going to go. So I was already preparing myself for like, this is going to be how they go out.
I thought Worf was going to buy it for certain.
Me too. Yep. He was getting cut up by the Borg. Yeah. He was getting cut up.
Yay. And good. Luckily for those redundant organs on Klingons, extra hearts, 2 hearts, two livers, 2 dicks. That is canon, by the way.
Yeah, it is. They patched him up so quick, too. You notice by the time he got back to the bridge, apparently they made a visit by sickbay because he didn't have any holes in him.
Well, and I mean, look, they also did see that Jack had the face
removed. That's fair. Yeah.
So they obviously stopped at some point to do something.
Yep.
You know what would have been fucking hilarious?
Some Band-Aids.
If they'd stopped at 10 forward. Just had guy in there. What? What do you want now?
I joined the ship, Picard. I'm here.
Yeah, I'm one with the ship, Picard.
That's funny.
Yeah, seeing the D maneuvering crazy through things was pretty cool. I mean, yeah, we all know how that's put together, but yeah, it was still fun because there were times though when I was watching the ship that is like, I know I'm watching a digital model the way everything looks weirdly sharp.
Well,
Yeah.
and now I mean, like now I really know why Doug Drexler was so tight-lipped when we interviewed him a few weeks ago. But man, just damn.
'Cause we watched that after which episode had we seen when we interviewed him was like a season episode 7 or something.
I want to say 6. After 6.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think he. Yeah, he sat on some good stuff there. Obviously, I mean, we didn't expect him to drop any of the major spoilers.
No, I mean, but still, like I'm kind of glad. I'm really glad. Like I'm usually okay with certain spoilers. Some stuff I just do not want to be spoiled on, but for the most part, I'm okay. Now I'm really glad that we got nothing because it was so cool when. Well, you know what? We'll talk about this when we get to talking about the Enterprise D.
We're talking about the D right now.
Well, that's fine. The when you know like when basically the core is blowing to pieces and the D comes down and kind of like fishtails and sort of hovers over the top and they kind of do that that spin around. I'm telling you what I heard in my head was Bon Jovi's "Raise Your Hands" like they used in Spaceballs. you know. I was just sitting there like I could totally see like freaking Data blast into some 80s hair metal.
Okay,
That would
you've
have been
lost me
interesting.
now.
What? Oh man, come on! Just because you're gonna be 50 this year, you old fart.
Shit, I'm old.
I mean, obviously the fat ones can move. The fat ones, the big starships, that ship moved faster. Honestly, it did things that I wanted to see it do in TNG, especially the way Beverly like fired all those weapons. Because they were like, "Oh, you got to do the manual." And she's like, "Okay, I got this." And the next thing you know,
Pew, pew,
volleys
pew.
of torpedoes and phasers, and I was just like,
Shit blowing up.
shit blowing up. I was like, "That's Galaxy class firepower right there."
Yeah.
Like, this is a big ship, a big deal. In my opinion, Galaxy classes should still be in service and going. I mean, we have naval ships that last 50 years, and the Galaxy class expected life was 80. So, shoot, bring her back and rename her the Picard and let her run like colony duty or something. I don't know, was my opinion. But it was just good to see her again.
That or they figured out putting families on starships wasn't the best idea.
That too. Yeah, but the Ross class starships are supposed to be the next evolution of Galaxy class ships, and those are more like giant utility / forward deployment base building. It's actually pretty cool starship. I digress, but yeah, I think that's probably why we don't see a lot of Galaxies because the Rosses took over.
Yeah, that's fine. The Ross itself is a fine design, but there's
Mhm.
just something about the D. It's so funny that it was
Yeah.
such a
The
diversion.
fat one?
Yeah, the fat one. It's weird that it was such a divergence from, I guess the ships that came before it with the likes of the movie series ships with their clean lines and everything, and of course the original series ships. It was so much like so different. I mean, it was night and day different. But now you look at it and it's like you can't help but feel that's a sweet freaking design. Even to the point where when I go back and look at it, I actually start to feel a little bit more pang of nostalgia looking at that than I do, say, the Sovereign class. And I loved the Sovereign class.
I prefer the Enterprise E.
Yeah.
Had more
I
weapons.
feel like we
All right, Worf.
never really got the chance to know her much and outside of the movies. And I really wanted to know the Enterprise E more. And I kind of was hoping that would be the ship, but the Enterprise E does show up in Star Trek Prodigy, and it's shown getting damaged really bad. If you read the name, it's Enterprise, and it was in the fleet in the finale of Prodigy that was damaged. So Worf could have been captain at that point, but it's not confirmed, and that could have been where the Enterprise E was damaged to the point where it wasn't salvageable. We don't know that. The other possibility is that Worf could be a captain in an upcoming series or show up in Prodigy and the Enterprise get destroyed. So I hope we get more E. I really do.
That's
I
funny
think
how-
that ship sailed, unfortunately.
Well, I don't know.
Man.
Well, that's the thing.
Well, he
is
could
you-
come back
you-
as
Worf
CTI.
crashed the ship.
Yeah, that's
Probably had Deanna. Probably Deanna came on board for a visit, and she crashed into something.
that was funny when
She didn't crash here this time,
I
though.
was gonna say that was just like, oh shit, who's letting her behind the wheel, man?
Did you
There's
notice she jumped behind the con when Riker said Imzadi and Troy was like, I know
Yeah.
where they are? He ran right up to the con and then piloted the ship. I almost want to say she was the one that threw the Enterprise over them, like and piloted. I think that was kind of a redemption for her, actually.
Yeah. Well, she did some
Yeah.
stuff. She did some stuff. She did. I think she did more in this season than she did in 7 years in TNG, with 1,000%, with 100% less mental raping.
oh yeah.
Because I mean, basically, whenever she showed up, she got tortured.
So, Andre, you've met and kind of done some work with Marina Sirtis. I mean,
I did meet her.
I still remember the story about her getting pretty upset when you took a picture of her out of her makeup. I guess is that what it was?
It was. She ended up being really cool afterwards, though. So I was on a gig taking pictures, and I took some pictures of her with another Star Trek actor, and she was like, "Don't take my picture without my makeup on." So I was like, "I didn't know, but I want to tell you that you're my favorite." And when I was a kid, I used to watch you when I was sad or watch you when I was happy, and you were my favorite. And then she ran over and gave me the biggest Constable Troy hug, and that made the world a good place. That was nice. But she was worried that how she'd be perceived without her makeup on, and I was like, "You're beautiful. You are beautiful in or out of makeup, and you are an icon." So it was nice to see her character come to a good conclusion.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
think,
think
you're right. That is
I
a
think
little bit of
everybody got
redemption.
a happy ending in this, to be honest.
Yes,
Except,
some
except that
happier than
Really?
others.
Shelby.
Really, they got a happy ending today. So like would have been funnier like if when they wrapped this whole thing up, instead of them being at 10 Forward Bar, they were like sitting there in New York eating shawarma.
That might have worked.
Why
too.
not?
Yes,
That sounds
give them an
awesome.
Avengers
A
ending.
Warriors. Of course, Worf would have come up with something about it being a Warriors meal or some shit.
Or a warrior. It'd be like he'd be sitting there like, "What is this?" And it'd be like tzatziki sauce, and he'd be like, "A Warriors dip." or Warriors sauce, and I don't even want to talk about the ramifications of the phrase "a Warriors sauce." Because never mind. Yep. I'm
Okay.
setting up onwards.
So-
Onwards.
So let's jump to probably the second last thing, speculation. Obviously, they set up Captain Seven, Jack Crusher, Raffi, Geordie the Forge's daughter, as part of a new crew on New Enterprise. What do you think they're going to do with that?
I don't know. I mean, they might actually make something of it. If they do go, like, here's the thing. The formula that seems to work best for Star Trek, even what's classed as New Trek, is that episodic or at least very faithful overarching story format. So the reason why
Not Discovery.
Right. Well, I mean, the thing is that Discovery had its merits of what a few of them there were.
Oh, yeah.
But you look at what set season 3 of Picard set it aside from the first 2 seasons. And while yes, there was this pretty much 10 episode long story arc that we were building to a conclusion, they dropped in so much nostalgia that you didn't realize it or you didn't think about that. And now you go back and you look at you look at Discovery, same thing, but they focus so much on doubling down on and I hate to use the word wokeness of the story because I'm not like that. Like I'm not saying it to be dismissive or derogatory, but they are like, it's like you have like we're gonna tell you this story and we're going to tell you it this way and we're gonna make you're gonna like it because we're telling the story. And it's like, no, you gotta sell things. Like look at Shaw's redemption arc. I mean, from episode
Right.
1, this guy was an asshole. Asshole grade A. And
He
by
was an
the end of
asshole
it,
when he died, to be
yeah.
honest.
But when he died,
You like that
that's
asshole.
the first time. First time in the history, first time in my life that I have ever cried while watching Star Trek. And they did that in the course of 9 episodes. You know, they did more. They dropped more emotions in 9 or 10 episodes of this show than they did in all of the TNG episodes that I've ever watched. Like, I'm sitting there like, I have a couple of episodes of TNG that are my favorite, but holy shit. Just holy shit. They did the unthinkable. They managed to make you love a character that you started off by hating, and they did it in an infinitesimal amount of time when you think about it.
Yeah. I mean, for comparison, Star Wars The Clone Wars, Ahsoka Tano, my favorite character in Star Wars. Season 1, she was annoying little shit. And they took seasons to slowly build the character. They did Shaw in 9.
Yep.
So, that was impressive.
So I guess we'll see.
Yeah, it's funny because like if I get what you were saying, Lars, if you have certain things in the show at the expense of good writing, I think it gets bad. Like Discovery's issue was that the writing was really, really bad. And I'm fine for a lot of the things they were trying to do, but like when the writing is awful, like stopping and having like counseling about feeling your feelings in the middle of a battle, bad, you know. And then but like what I do like, and what I've noticed about all the shows in Star Trek is there's two things that are like connecting all the shows. There's the theme of connection, and there's the theme of empathy, and those are two things that Patrick Stewart did to really break through his son. First, he empathized with his son about his position. He said, "Oh, I had related to him. I can do that too. You know, I felt I was the same way you were. Like no one saw me." And then he connected with his son, you know, and then Discovery emphasized connection and empathy. And then also Strange New Worlds had a whole episode about empathy with that race of aliens that if you didn't empathize with them, you didn't get the treaty. So that I noticed that there are overarching themes that they are writing into every Star Trek show.
And the thing is with what I think what sets Strange New Worlds aside for me is the fact that they, because of the good writing, they managed to make you invest emotionally in all those characters. I would say that there isn't a character on Strange New Worlds that I don't like. I think one I might like the least is Dr. Mbanga, but I still like him on some level, you know. But just, you know, even you know, if you write it correctly and you give those characters good stories, it doesn't matter whether it's about empathy, if it's about inclusivity, or just plain good, you know, action adventure. You're going to like them. You're going to invest your feelings and time. And that was one of my biggest beefs with the Kelvin Timeline movies. Was they were like, well, you love these characters because you're a Star Trek fan, so you're going to automatically love this, and everything we do, you're going to love. I'm like, no. I mean, while the
They made
actors
Star
are
Trek
great-
into bullshit.
yeah, they did. So, yeah, that's my take.
Can
on
we
it.
talk? I want to talk about the Enterprise F, and I'm probably going to be one of the few. Enterprise G. I'm probably going to be one of the few dissenters that just really thinks that the Titan isn't an Enterprise. It should never have been. I think it's a great Titan. I really like Bill Klaus's design, you know, for the Titan. But the Enterprise has always been like state of the art, cutting edge ships. This is a refit class, so when they had the like part where they were flying into the ship, and I thought they were going to fly over the Titan and then on to either the refit Enterprise F, may call that G, or the brand new ship. I wanted to see a brand new ship, and I'm gonna love this ship because it's an Enterprise. But for me, it doesn't make sense in the design lineage to put the refit class in the middle.
You know why they did that, right? You know a totally reason why they did that. I mean, what was the one theme that
Star Trek 4?
Yeah, that one theme throughout the entire season was nostalgia. Was callbacks to nostalgia. Even
Mhm.
even
Clap the
Tuvok's-
member berries on the Titan and let's get us an Enterprise back.
Yeah. Oh,
That's it.
and the thing,
Member. Go
yeah.
ahead.
Chuck
Sorry,
them-
Lars. Go ahead.
No,
We
you're-
got the
you're fine.
D, took the member berries on, and we hit the G spot. Boom.
Yep.
There it
And even to the point where you have Tuvok giving the speech to Seven, it smacks of the conversation that the president has with Kirk when basically when they forgive them for because they saved the planet, and of course like it's just all that's it is every piece of
So
plot line and story element was in some way to tie all this nostalgia together. So I could understand why they did. I was a dissenter.
Wait a
of the
minute.
Constitution
Hold on.
class, but
does this mean that Terry Metalis is basically doing a J.J. Abrams only good?
shit.
I'm not following you. What is he doing now?
He's saying,
Member berry nostalgia splatter, borrowing stuff from old movies and putting into your new stuff.
He did so much of
And
that this whole
remixing.
season with
Yeah.
sound effects like Vodic's
Which is-
chair.
Which is
Like-
literally what JJ did with the first
Yeah.
his first Star Wars movie and half of the Star Trek movies he did.
So
Actually,
my
both of them.
my glaring question, and to me this is a plot hole, and maybe you guys can explain. Like maybe I missed something. So Jack Crusher, here's the Borg Queen, right? And Picard goes to him and says, "We're going to put you in a Vulcan camp so you can feel better," which I think was the wrong thing to do. He should have been like, "Jack, we're going to figure this out. I'm not going to leave your side." So Jack is like, "No, I'm going to leave," and so then he leaves. Was he under the coercion of the Borg Queen? Because essentially he went straight to the Borg Queen thinking he could fix it, and also gets caught up by her, and then causes the Federation fleet to attack Starfleet. That all gets resolved, and suddenly Jack Crusher's in Starfleet. It seems like they would be a little ticked. What did I miss?
Well, I think the word you're looking for here is, and even Jack said it about himself, is on the on when he was on the shuttle on the shuttle. The word you're looking for is nepotism.
Yeah, big time. Hey, come on, how many thousands of people probably died? Wrecked starships. I mean, Starbase 1 gets kicked over, like or Star Space Dock gets kicked over. And then, like, they were nervous about letting Picard sit back in the chair after he was assimilated.
Like father, like son.
Yeah, and so then like, yeah, here's a pip. Here's a pip. Like, come on and just be.
What could possibly go
Jack
wrong?
Crusher. Right. I love him. He's actually one of my new favorite characters. I think he's a scoundrel, and I just adore him. But
Not
to me,
Shaw
that was
level,
a
though.
glaring plot hole.
Not Shaw level. Shaw is
Yep.
even cooler.
Yeah, I love Shaw. He was like Grumpy Cat of Star
What a
Trek.
bastard. He was great.
I loved it. Yeah,
Yeah.
so grumpy and so mean.
Oh yeah. What was the character's name from Lower Decks? Teana, Dr. Teana.
Hmm.
Dr.
Yeah.
Adam. Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. So before we hit the last item here, which we're going to talk about in just 1 second, there is one other piece that happened, and I want to say it was in episode 8, that really cheesed me off, and that's when Vadik killed Taven, the Vulcan bridge officer.
Yes.
I
Yes.
so
Oh,
wanted
I
to see
was
more.
so
more
sad.
about
Holden
the character.
Negan.
Yeah, pulled a
Like I
Negan.
said, Terry Metalis doing his JJ.
What do you think, Pussycat? She's looking at me like, yeah, it's bullshit.
Yeah, I would have loved to have seen more of Tavine. That was an unfortunate death, I think.
Mm.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Tavine
they
was
had
great.
off somebody.
Yeah. Who else would you have rather seen any of the other ones off?
Yeah. What was Geordie LaForge's daughter's name?
Oh no, she's my
Which
favorite. I
one?
love Sydney.
I know.
Oh,
Yeah,
that would have
Sydney.
been
I'm just
devastating.
I'm being totally facetious. We did this for
Oh,
like
my-
episode after episode because she kept doubling down saying I'm Geordie LaForge's daughter. Oh yeah, what
Or
was your
some
name?
variation of that
Yeah.
until we got to the Changeling doing that to try to convince Seven, and then of course Seven catches her out and shoots her.
Yeah. So that being said, let's hit the last item here. Patrick, go ahead and take it away there.
The bone we were talking a little bit about earlier, but Strange New. As we were watching this last episode, Strange New Worlds dropped season 2 teaser.
And yeah, holy crap!
Please tell me everybody's seen that.
Oh, I've seen it.
Klingons.
Yes,
We got
Klingons.
real Klingons
that
again.
look like Klingons.
Mm-hmm.
I-
Those, they're back finally.
I wish they
Klingons. I
would've-
was like, "Ooh, hey, there you are, Klingon."
Look,
Although I was watching a video on it earlier, they kind of have Discovery Klingon armor with the TOS era sash, but with the proper headgear.
yeah,
Yep.
I wanted to see the Puerto Ricans in gold lame. I mean, come on. Come on, guys. That being said, I am glad to see them return to, I guess, the
Real Klingons?
the Imperial Klingons, as they've been called, not the ones who had their ridges dissolved by the augment virus. But still, pretty freaking cool.
We do not speak of it.
I love the augment twist. I thought that was a way to really fix the difference between the two Klingons. That would be the one thing I would change in Discovery, is have them all be human augment still. Because I love the way Archer explained it. I mean, that was great.
Could always digitally fix that. Just digitize out the Discovery Klingons and put in real Klingons.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that Diddy pissed with that. But anyways, yeah.
Any other thoughts of the trailer?
I'm excited. I'm just really excited.
I mean,
it looked, yeah.
Obviously,
Constitution
number
class
one
gets
returns.
Yeah.
Yep.
Go ahead.
It looks like Khan. She comes back.
Gorn. More Gorn.
Oh, yep. So.
And we saw a Constitution class, or it could have been a Sombra class. It could have been the Peregrine A. Destroyed again.
Oh God. And it looks like we're gonna see more of Captain Kirk.
Yeah.
This season.
And he doesn't like revolving doors.
Apparently. It's apparently someplace in Canada. So.
Okay. I can't wait. I am looking
Space.
forward to that whole season.
And apparently a bunch of people, of course, decided, no, you're from Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, what?
You only work in outer space.
Yeah, fans were all over that one. Yep.
Yeah. Well, it's tough when they miss those marks, the easy ones, but still, I'm willing to give it a pass for this time. So that
if the episode's good, if the episode that has it's good, a little bit of continuity over a 60, 70 year franchise.
Well, yeah, because
Where are we at?
57 years.
We're at 57. Yeah.
Yeah, because this year
57 years, you're bound to have some continuity errors.
Yeah, this year is Mission 57 for Star Trek Convention. So that's
wow. And they're doing Star Trek in phases now, like the MCU. So there's the Section 31 show is going to kick off phase 2. And so we're going to get a lot of shows, a lot of mini movies, a lot of shows. I'm excited.
Speaking of Section 31, that actually they just announced that 2 days ago. Looks like it's not going to be a series. It's going to be a movie.
TV movie. Yay.
So we'll give it a go. Hey, we get Michelle Yeoh back, so
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I'm definitely.
Yep.
Okay
I'm more than okay with that.
So, all right, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up here. That's all the time we have for this episode of Treknicity. Thank you for joining us for this spoiled review of Star Trek Picard. Be sure to check us out on our wonderful socials listed below. You can see them down there. And of course, also, Andre, why don't you tell our fine viewers where they can find you and all your wonderful design work?
You can find me on ArtStation under Sci-Fi Dre, and then you can also find me on Twitter under the Sci-Fi Guy.
Awesome. Also, be sure to check us out on our YouTube channel, which you can find by going to redshirtgeeks.tv, where you can look back at the last 9 years of content.
9 years.
9 years.
That's right. I'm Lars.
9 years.
I'm Lars.
Sorry, yeah, I know. I'm Patrick.
And remember to go boldly and to rock out what you spock out. We will see you next time, my friends.